Thanks for joining us tonight. We start with breaking news. Toledo's Jeep plant will soon be building a new vehicle.
Yeah, we just got that information from Stellantis within the last 30 minutes that an all-new mid-size truck will be assembled right here in Toledo.
Stellantis announced plans just a short time ago to invest $13 billion throughout the next 4 years in the Midwest. That includes 5 new vehicles, which means reopening the plant in Belvidere, Illinois, adding a new SUV plant in Warren, adding a new SUV in Warren at the plant in Michigan, and bringing in 5,000 jobs at plants in those 2 states, along with jobs here in Ohio and Indiana.
The company says nearly $400 million is coming to Ohio, and that means workers at the Toledo Assembly Complex will build an all-new mid-size truck, which was previously allocated to the Belvidere plant. It will instead join the Jeep Wrangler and the Jeep Gladiator here in Toledo.
With this investment, we plan to expand U.S. production by 50% with 5 new vehicles launches and 19 product actions, adding more than 5,000 new jobs at our plants in Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, and Indiana.
Stellantis saying that the production shift could create more than 900 jobs here in Toledo. New jobs with the launch expected in 2028.
Ohio Governor Mike DeWine tells us that he just got off the phone earlier with Stellantis this afternoon. He calls the news that the company is expanding in Toledo welcome news. Governor DeWine says this expansion will continue to reinforce Toledo's legacy in the automotive sector, positioning Ohio at the forefront of the global automotive industry. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer just released a statement as well. She says, quote, "I'm grateful to Stellantis for betting on Michigan once again, building on our work to bring more manufacturing back home." She goes on to say, "We don't care what you drive, gas, diesel, hybrid, or electric, as long as it's made in Michigan. Together, let's keep bringing manufacturing home, growing the middle class, and putting the world on wheels." As we learn more information about the new vehicles coming to Toledo and these other states, we'll be sure to keep you updated right here on WTOL 11+.
Other stories that we're tracking for you tonight. College students typically put in work in the classroom to get to their future career. But BGSU of the future careers will be directly in the classroom. WTOL 11's Jack Crum has more on this latest initiative.
Bowling Green State University is bringing real-life experiences right here to campus, and it's thanks to a new initiative.
And a big part of life design here on campus is really helping students to leverage the support they have to think more about their careers.
And now BGSU will look to get students of all majors a head start on their career path of tomorrow. The university was selected for a nationwide program called the Work Integrated Learning Accelerator. It's kind of like mini internships that entire classes of students are now able to do right on campus. Vice President for Corporate Partnerships Steve Russell says it opens the door for businesses and nonprofits to work directly with students.
This is the idea of bringing the work all the way back into the institution. And so you could think about a project that company might have. They could take that project, insert it back into a class or in some type of experience that students have. Now, instead of one person having an internship experience, we might get 30 to 40 students who all get to engage in that context.
The $50,000 grant came from the J.P. Morgan Chase Foundation and Strata Foundation and will grow over time, with funding going towards programs and possibly technology moving forward. Russell says the goal is for all students to graduate with real-world experience to go along with their degree.
This work is about creating access for all students. So even the students who are coming to us who don't have a strong professional network built in, they're not coming from the type of community that maybe had the jobs that they want to go into in their future. This is a way to get that context back here, and otherwise they would have really struggled to find that context on their own.
It's a 3-year grant program, and the first pilot projects begin next semester. BGSU was one of only 8 universities across the country that were selected, and the only one in the Midwest. For now, in Bowling Green, I'm Jack Crum, WTOL 11.
So, Jack, I find this fascinating. My junior year in college, I went out, got an internship here in the Toledo area, and got the experience that I needed. You said COVID got in the way of yours, but these kids, to have this coming to them, what was their reaction to having these businesses? They don't have to do a lot of legwork on this end.
Well, right, and that was the main point that the university had told me, is that oftentimes with these internships, students miss out on them, just the competition, the nature of it. but this brings it directly to the classroom. So now a classroom of 20 or 30 students get that experience and that leg up and the opportunity to work with their potential future employer.
But these companies are coming into there and they're actually creating or bringing real world issues that these kids are trying to solve with them? Is that how it works?
Right. So they go through the university, and then the university will take these problems that they bring them or these projects that they bring them and then integrate it into the classes of whatever major they're in. So it's not just one major. It's not just business or communication. It's, they're open for all businesses to come in and they can create that.
You said at the end of your piece, this is one of 8 universities, BGSU, selected for this initiative. So the competition there to try to get this implemented.
Stiff, right?
Yeah.
And they're the only one in the Midwest to get this as well. So obviously they're thrilled to have it, and they think it's going to be a great opportunity to give students kind of that experience in the classroom.
Did they say that they think this, A plus B equals C kind of a scenario where these kids are going to get jobs out of this? Because you've got a classroom full of 15, 18, 22 kids. They can't all get jobs, but 1 or 2 of them could.
I think it opens up for 1 or 2 of them to get it. I think that it also allows a lot of students to kind of look at this and go, is this something I really want to do for a career? So that goes into the career readiness aspect of it. And it kind of just allows them, if not a job, a glimpse into what they would potentially be doing. And I'm sure a lot of students could sell that in a job interview as well.
I'm curious. I've talked to you about this before. We have to be quick studies for the job that we do. Did you sit back on this one and kind of go, that's interesting, as you were learning about it?
I did. Actually, I thought about my capstone class that I took my senior year, and I'm like, we tried to do like a simulation of like what an actual job would be like, right? But these kids will actually be doing the actual job within their classroom. So I kind of thought back and I was like, okay, like what a great,
great opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Great opportunity for kids down at BGSU. Jack, thanks. Kaylee, back to you.
Now to the stories making headlines across the country and around the world. Instagram is making some changes to teen accounts. Plus, President Trump awards Charlie Kirk the Medal of Freedom. And the Senate returns to Washington today as we mark day 14 of the government shutdown. But first, a Pennsylvania man has pleaded guilty to firebombing Governor Josh Shapiro's mansion. Security footage shows the moment the arsonist set Shapiro's mansion on fire in April. It shows Cody Ballmer entering the mansion after using a sledgehammer to get through a window while throwing Molotov cocktails around the house. The governor, his wife, 3 kids, state troopers, and others were inside at the time. Today, Ballmer pleaded guilty to all charges, including attempted murder of Governor Josh Shapiro, aggravated arson, and terrorism. The 38-year-old was sentenced to 25 to 50 years in prison. Today marks 2 full weeks since the shutdown of the federal government. The 2 parties are still divided over health care. House Speaker Mike Johnson has warned this shutdown could be the longest in history as lawmakers are still deadlocked. But President Trump says his administration has identified funds to at least pay the military. The Senate is planning another vote tonight, but there's little hope they'll come to a resolution. President Trump awarded Charlie Kirk with the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. In the White House Rose Garden, the president presented the award to his wife, Erica Kirk. Today would have been Charlie's 32nd birthday. Kirk, who was a friend and political ally of President Trump, was assassinated last month during a speaking event at Utah Valley University. The House and Senate approved resolutions last month, making today a national day of remembrance for Kirk. Instagram is unveiling PG-13 protections for its teen accounts. Today's update installs more limits on what millions of young people can see. Among the updates, Instagram will not promote and may even hide some posts. That includes those with strong language or posts which could be encouraging for harmful behaviors like content with risky stunts. Teens also won't be able to follow accounts that regularly share age-inappropriate content.
Still to come, a rare ancient discovery in the backyard of a New Orleans property. Now it has sparked an internal investigation. We're going to tell you more about what was found and how it has ties to a foreign land. Chris?
Well, look at this. It's got my attention. The sun just in the process of setting on this beautiful Tuesday evening. What to expect overnight tonight and when our next rain chance returns. That will be my forecast coming up.
Well, you found us here on WTOL 11 Plus, but we want to point you in the direction as well as to what's trending on social media. And right now, we want you to see this video from Steve Iwanek on our TikTok page.
Well, sometimes the treatment that you need can't be found in a hospital, but it can be found in your community. That is exactly the case for people living in South and East Toledo, in particular those living near Queen of Apostles School, as well as Helping Hands of St. Louis Church. Now, every Monday night from about 5:30 to 8:30, Dr. Richard Patt, a clinical professor at the University of Toledo's Medical Center, brings about 20 UTMC students along with him to both of those locations and helps people in need with various medical services that they need. At the same time, St. John's Jesuit High School, St. Ursula Academy, Notre Dame Academy bring student volunteers out to help serve meals to people in need as well. At these clinics, the UTMC students can treat anything from the various things like getting a flu shot to maybe needing bandaging, all the way up to even small incisions and wound care work. The effort is called El Labra. It's named after the Catholic Saint Benedict Joseph Labra, and it's been going on for 13 years here in Toledo, where St. John started it back in 2012. And Monday night's Labra was the 712th one done in existence.
Make sure you are following WTOL 11 on your favorite social media platform to stay up to date and see what people are talking about. A group of citizen scientists has helped to discover a rare double ring structure in outer space. No joke. The structure is of a type called odd radio circles, also known as orcs. They are so massive that entire galaxies sit at the center of them. Orcs span hundreds of thousands of light years and often reach 10 to 20 times the size of our Milky Way galaxy. Now, despite the size, they are also very faint and can usually only be detectable through radio light. This newly discovered orc is the most distant one known to date, about 7.5 billion light years from Earth. Help me understand this, Chris.
Once we get beyond our atmosphere, this stuff kind of just blows my mind, too.
It's so hard to wrap your head around.
I was just going to say the same thing.
I was talking with our producer earlier today. They said, come on over here. I got to show you this story, the one you just saw right there.
Yeah.
And I looked at it. They're like, what can you add to this? I'm like, that is just out of this world. It's incredible to think how vast this is. Light years are just millions and millions and millions and millions of miles away. And to have something that large is truly incredible.
Weren't orcs the creatures from Lord of the Rings?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, boy. All right. Never mind.
That's actually where they got their name from.
I can't show you one other thing as well. If we take you on over here to the big weather maps, we're looking at bright skies and sunshine just fading over the horizon. That is one thing we can show you. The sun that is now dipping below the horizon. We're right up to the cusp of sunset, which is now just moments away. Dip it back into the 60s. A few spots still hanging out of the lower 70s. Look at Findlay, 71, 70 in Ottawa, 75 in Defiance, 60s a little bit closer to the lakeshore and across parts of southern Michigan. Now we do have dry weather, and we're going to stay generally dry tonight. That chance of any rain through the day tomorrow, Thursday, and into Friday is going to be near zero. Now, there's a slim chance overnight of an isolated shower, but I'll be honest, it's not any meaningful rain that's going to come into the area. This weekend could change that late Saturday into Sunday, as rain chances will be on the increase. Did get some patchy fog early this morning, and that is something that is not expected to be out there for the bus stop forecast as we get into the day tomorrow. Rain chances into the weekend, I want you to watch very close. It's going to start the weekend dry conditions. Here's the clock as we go through early Saturday. Through the afternoon, it's into the evening. Rain chances work into the area. Rain overnight Saturday and into Sunday morning. I'll stop the clock 7 a.m. on Sunday. You wake up Sunday, could be one of those gray, gloomy, wet October days, something we haven't seen all autumn season with how dry things have been, and showers may hang on through Sunday afternoon before they end as we get into the evening. That weekend forecast, better chance of rain late Saturday and into Sunday. Still going to hang close to 70 on Sunday before we do turn cooler, and we are going to be dropping back into the 60s for Wednesday and Thursday. One more surge back toward the 70s for Friday into Saturday, mid to upper 70s on Saturday. That will be the warmest day in my 10-day forecast, and then beyond the rain chances through the weekend, early next week does drop back into the low and mid 60s as we get ready to work into late October. Jeff, back over to you.
Chris, thanks. There is a mystery unfolding that archaeologists and anthropologists, they're trying to solve right now.
That mystery starts with a find in the backyard of a New Orleans home and will soon end in a city about an hour north of Rome. Meg Ferris has the story.
Much like they did down in the Bay of Naples area, too.
It all started Tuesday with our story on a mystery archaeologists and anthropologists were trying to unravel. How in the world did something nearly 2,000 years old get from the other side of the world into the backyard garden of a shotgun in the riverbend? Since it was found while clearing vines in May, Tulane and UNO scholars figured out the marble slab was the grave marker for a member of the Roman Imperial Navy around 100 AD, and it had been missing since an Italian museum was bombed in 1943 during World War II. We reported that the FBI was in possession of the ancient tombstone and had plans to repatriate it to the Italian Museum next summer. Well, a Metairie family was watching.
I just saw this news story. You're not going to believe it. Just watch it and call me back.
Erin Scott O'Brien showed us that in her 20s, her family moved into that riverbend shotgun, and they had unceremoniously acquired that marble slab from her mom, who had acquired it after her mom and dad passed away in the 80s. Erin just thought it was one of her grandfather's interesting collectibles from World War II.
We planted a tree and we said, this is sort of our new house. Let's put this outside in our garden.
And they forgot it when they sold the Riverbend house in 2018. Now, Erin's grandfather lived in this house in Gentilly. Master Sergeant Charles E. Paddock was in the USO in the Special Service section stationed in Italy. His bride, Adele Vicenza Pioli, was Italian, an artist and violin player. They married there in 1946. Now, I talked to Erin's Uncle Charlie, who remembers the stone on display in this or one of the other family cabinets at the home in Gentilly. But he says the family really never talked about where it came from.
I had no idea it was a 2,000-year-old, relic that was part of, just his history.
That Tulane scholar, Dr. Suzanne Lusnia, alerted the museum that the missing grave marker with its chiseled ancient Latin inscriptions had been found and even visited them over the summer.
It's amazing. And it's wonderful that it's going back to where, it's It belongs.
And had they not accidentally left it at their old home that they sold to a cultural anthropology scholar, it may never have found its way back to its real home in Italy.
Still to come, Toledo City Council members are getting less money for district projects this year, but despite a major cut in funding, they're still looking for ways to revamp the city. What changes have been made and what could be coming?
Also, in a WTOL 11 follow-up, a Toledo Public Schools paraprofessional suspended without pay after video showing her restraining a student up against a wall gets released. It has sparked questions about proper training, and tonight we're getting you the answers. All right, thanks for being with us here on WTOL 11 Plus now.
We're continuing to follow a story on a Toledo Public Schools paraprofessional who is suspended without pay after being seen restraining an 8-year-old student at Garfield Elementary School. It was caught on surveillance video and given to us by the boy's mother. Brenda Gift, an assistant superintendent at Lake Erie West, says the Ohio State Board of Education requires paraprofessionals to have a high school diploma, a background check, and de-escalation training. Gift says certified prevention training, or CPI, is mostly made up of that sort of de-escalation training. Gift says CPI teaches paraprofessionals and teachers to understand verbal and nonverbal cues, and while physical restraint may be needed in more serious or dangerous situations, she says it's a last resort.
And the goal is care, welfare, safety, and security that is foundational of CPI, and making sure that, you know, there's no trauma or injury to anybody. And it is a traumatic situation. If you have to put your hands on somebody, it's very, very tough, but it is very last resort.
We reached out to TPS about the suspended paraprofessional whose name has not been revealed yet. The school tells us she is currently CPI certified and is scheduled for recertification next month. School leaders say this incident is still under investigation.
Toledo City Council members are getting less money this year for district projects. Each district gets a certain amount of DPI money, or DIP money, I should say, which is District Improvement Program funds. They do that for capital improvements, and council members were previously given up to $125,000, but they only got 50 grand this year. City Council member Teresa Morris says the fund has less money due to fewer income tax dollars coming in, despite the 60% decrease. Now, Morris wants to put funds toward basketball and pickleball courts in her district. Councilmember Adam Martinez is hoping to use some of the money to improve school safety.
We're in the process of compiling a pilot project for surveillance cameras, video cameras, first responder type cameras that would allow individuals to have immediate awareness of what's going on in the site on the exterior.
Martinez says this is still a work in progress, but the goal is to make his district as safe as possible with the latest resources. Council is going to vote on these projects at its meeting next week. If council members do not use their funds from a particular year, that money does carry over. Hey, don't forget to check out some of the other exclusive content that we have on WTOL 11 Plus. On a new episode of Chasing the Game, Chase Bachman sits down with the Northview High School head volleyball coach.
What is that like, this end of the season? You guys are probably playing some non-conference opponents, and then you have to transition to, the games absolutely matter more than they ever have. It's, win or go home. What's that like, this kind of end of the year part of the season?
Yeah, we really build our schedule to be really tough at the end of the year. Really make sure we're working on the things that we need to work on, making sure that we're really fine-tuning those missing links. So hopefully when we're ready to go, we're ready. We're scoring at a high clip right now, which is fun. We just had a school record for kills on yesterday's match. So, we're really doing a nice job on the offensive side. So we're looking forward to seeing what happens here.
So the team is kind of where you want them to be at this point in the season, hopefully, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as much as we can, we're still super young. We only have 4 seniors on a roster of 15. So we're looking forward to seeing how this group continues to strive forward, and then obviously what sets the stage for next year as well.
Yeah, you guys obviously have the talented junior class. Frankie, you got Elena Sauer is one of those people. Like, what's it like kind of having that really strong junior class? You got a couple of younger underclassmen kids that are talented.
Yeah, it's neat to have just kids that can continue to come through. Every year we've got an outstanding sophomore class this year. We've got we got a freshman on varsity this year that is just a powerhouse. She hit almost 600 yesterday in our match. So we've got some really good young kids coming through. And then not just on the varsity squad, but also in the sub-varsity program as well. So we're really building it. And our junior high kids are doing a great job as well. So we're looking forward to having them come in next year as well. So we just kind of hopefully reload. Continue to build that program and just continue to strive forward.
What's that like now? Because you've been coaching Northview now since, 2016, something like that?
Yeah, this is year 10.
So this is, it's a decade now. What's the kind of last decade been like? I know this is a loaded question, but the last decade now of building a program like this, what's it kind of take to get from when you started to where it is now?
Yeah, Emily Jones was the head coach prior to me, and Emily did a fantastic job with the program, so really was able to take that and just kind of run with it and continue to build it. My goal was always to make Northview a volleyball school, and do the best I can with what we have. The administration's been great, allow us to do whatever we want to just continue to make volleyball a priority. We had over 800 kids in our summer camps this year, so we're just trying to make volleyball a bigger priority in the city of Sylvania, and hopefully we're doing a good job.
You can watch the full episode of Chasing the Game coming up on WTOL 11 Plus News next.
A World War II veteran celebrated a major milestone yesterday, his 102nd birthday. Private First Class Hank Marchand served from 1944 to 1946. He served the military at just 19 years old and served in World War II. He was married to his wife for 62 years before she died last year. Monday, he celebrated his birthday with a group of Kentucky veterans, friends, and a whole lot of family. 102.
Always great to see this. And this comes on a day when we are celebrating our veterans. And if you watch us over on WTOL 11 later tonight, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock on Fox 36, and then 11 o'clock on WTOL, we've got the homecoming for Flag City Honor Flight, the final trip of the year, and our Dan Cummins will be there.
By far the highlight of the entire day. I love when they take off too. Everyone's so excited, but I can hardly watch the homecoming without crying.
So much emotion, the sound and the cheers. It is. Dan always kind of likes to highlight that wasn't the reception that many of these veterans received when they came home decades and decades ago. So it's nice to celebrate them, honor them for their service and their dedication to our country.
Dan always has such great weather for these trips, has for the last several of them. Today they had a little bit of rain.
They had rain. It was part of that coastal system that is now kind of pushing off the East Coast. It's something we haven't seen in quite some time. We've been rain-free, and I think for the most part, we're going to be dry the next several days. Here's a look at the 10-day forecast. Mid-60s showing up Wednesday, Thursday, back close to 70 on Friday. And into the weekend, we do get rain chances back if you're already starting to line those weekend plans up. Later Saturday night into Sunday, most likely chance of wet weather.
All right, never forget, every WTOL 11 newscast is live online right here on WTOL 11 Plus.